Right, hello everyone. Welcome back to Talent League. Just had a banger matchup between BP5 and their opponent Sokodo. Sokodo taking that spoilers 7-2 very dominant victory. And now we've got another Hungarian team. See if B can do better than their counterpart BP5, and they're gonna go up against Loud. So I think we're on border, as far as I can tell from the map veto. So very quickly, since you're co-casting with me, any opinions on border?
I like to see Border. It's one of the maps that you see less often, especially in this tier. So it'll be fun to see, especially with. I think Border is a close, like a very close range map. So you see a lot more shotguns. You see smoke, a little bit more um, operators that kind of have one shot potential than you would normally see in like Chalet, which is more of a long range map, or Cafe or Bank. So it'll be fun to see exactly how both of these teams handle this close range engagement.
All right, certainly agree with that. I mean, for the most part, Border is a map that leaves nearly no space inside the map. For the most part, if the attackers get any control inside the map, and the defenders haven't gotten a pick yet, it's pretty much over already. Like the defenders have to be so aggressive on this map, as we're loading into the game already. So we've got both of the teams going straight into operator bans as well. So very quickly, I mean, very close range map. Or any specific bans that you could see on defense, maybe?
On this map and specific bans, I mean, I feel like it could be coming out. I don't know if that's specific for the map though. I think that's just a general ban. Gonna
Very,
be Ying,
very
obviously, like we saw
powerful.
last time. Both would be operators I would be looking into. There's the Ying
All
right
right.
there. I don't see a Solus coming out on this map because Solus is one of those operators that's most useful on very large, very wide maps, and so I think that Solus is not going to be banned.
Yeah.
Um, but on the other hand, maybe a Mira. We do see a bit of Mira played. There's Satoka being the Ying. A Mira might be something that we see. Maybe a Cade. Um, maybe even an Azami.
Yeah, Azami. I mean, again, very close quarters map. With Azami, you can fortify a lot of positions. You can play. Azami on a lot of maps just allows you to play pretty much anywhere you want. You can just put up cover wherever you feel like it, as long as you're not going to get naded from down below. And there we go. 3 out of 4. What's the last ban? Can you get 4 out of 4? Can you get them all the right today?
Uh, let's see. B on defense. What are they going to ban? I'm going to call it Mira or Cade. Give me two at least. Come on, one of them.
One of the two, I'll give you that. Oh
Ah,
no, it's
Fenrir.
Fenrir. 3 out of 4.
Okay.
Right. Ying and Okabe just sort of a trend at the moment. We saw it in the previous matchup as well, and so we're going to continue not seeing them in the game as we now load
A
into round
lot of
1B, starting on the defense, and with
a
no
lot of
Asami,
people
no
are
Fenrir on the board.
scared.
I
They're
think
so
you might be
scared
right.
of that
You might be right
W.
about the Solus, because at the moment, yeah, B is not locking in a Solus, so you were right about that. Solus, very strong operator on larger maps, but border very claustrophobic, very tight. And so Solus doesn't give you that massive advantage because her range is massive. But on a small map like this, there's not much that you can do with this information because on border, you can almost hear across the map. And so hearing a drone is more valuable than seeing it with a Solus because it's usually right around the corner anyway.
Super interesting to see them go into bathroom first. Now I know it's a site that's seen a lot more love since the border rework happened a couple years ago, I think, but never seen it first. So that's an interesting thing to see coming out from B at the beginning here. Um, Hopefully we see a little more uh, spread in terms of what B decides to do with their sites, because like we typically saw, or like we typically saw, but like we did see last time with BP. If you didn't join us for that game, was that BP ran the same site 3 rounds in a row, and then the other site 2 rounds in a row, I think. Um, so they were really trying to get those two sites to work, and they just weren't working. So I think with B going this downstairs untraditional site off the bat, it'll be a lot more. There's a lot more potential for them to be a little more open with playing a lot more sites. Does that make sense? It's a lot.
Yeah, certainly. So B choosing to try and be more adaptive and more on their feet, and judging at least just by this side pick, this opening side pick here, that might be an option that they go for, as Dodo is actually able to get the opening pick onto Headshot. That is the hard breacher down. There's no backup hard breach for Loud either, so your hard breacher is gone. There's no way that you're gonna open up any of the walls that might be important. Of course, on Border, you might be able to get away with not opening any walls, but it does make it a lot more difficult. You're also losing a very good gun in that operator, and with a minute off the board, B now have man advantage, and Cloud haven't really gained any control, and they're now stalling.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see just how B take this round. I mean, there goes your sludge right there. So any more castle barricades you've got up there, but HRB goes right down right after to Phalanx. So it's not looking like it's over just yet for Loud, but it's definitely looking a little bit disadvantageous now. Now they're just taking it right back. Take two, one after another. That's going to be your Mozzie down and your sorry, not your Mozzie, your Ace down from Loud, and for B it's going to be your Mute and your Mozzie down now. A little bit rough to begin with. Now you've got a minute left in the round, so a lot of time for Loud to figure out what they want to do, and a lot of time for B to figure out how they're going to deal with these three players that are all kind of grouped up. They're pretty similar side. I think that one of them is now playing in the upstairs Arsenal area, but they still have to take the first floor.
You have the two people up on the side of B that have already gotten a frag, so arguably I think you've put yourself in the position with the two best players still alive. Of course, they do still have a decent control of the side. Dodo is just moving around trying to avoid the vertical play at the moment. He might even go up the hatch. Might be a late retake going on, as Garen will just have to hold off the site alone for a few seconds, as we're just waiting for Dodo to go for that. But no, Dodo gets caught out on that. Garen pushes out, is able to find one, but there's the refrag from Ossa. And now a plant is coming down. Dodo has taken a bit of damage on top floor, but the plant gets stopped, and for some reason, Ossa just running across the site. Dodo now on for a double. He leaves it in a 1v1 with only 15 seconds. Arthur's, he's not really sure where that last player is. He's just checking every corner. And he has to try and recover that diffuser and start getting a plant down. But of course, Dodo is now back up above, and he can start trying to retake. He now has 7 seconds to try and push up to that Ossa shield and get that 1v1. And see, Ash not even going to try. Opening round goes in favor of B with a bit of a weird play from the Ossa, just going cross-side after starting that plant.
Yeah, having the shield there, I mean, honestly, if Ossa put the shield down, I mean, or if Ossa put the diffuser down, I think that site would have, or that round would have gone much differently. But just picking it up for some reason and sprinting right into the gun line of Dodo there, and leaving that round for B, who really should not have won that.
Yeah, even with Garen, I mean, Garen pushed out of the site and is somehow able to convert onto a player that he was not expecting in the middle of waiting. So able to find that one before being traded out is still a trade, but it's a very hurtful trade for the side of Loud. And so be able to steal that one away. Garen and Dodo doing the Lord's work to try and keep that in favor of their own team. And now this is an operator that you said was going to be banned, I would say, but no, we see it instead. There's a Mira, going to be putting that on the main wall. I wonder where the second one is going to go, probably somewhere around fountain or office side. So now you can see B going to a more conventional side, but bringing some different operators. We got the Solus now, we got the Mira now. So just going for a bit of an adaptable side, and at least for now, don't see the same thing 4 times. Let's see if that trend continues, or we're going to see more of these 5 tactics.
Definitely hoping that that B decides to take this site, and if they do lose this site, going to like maybe Vince instead, or at least changing up their strategy for this site would be nice to see. Legion throwing a couple of his Legion mines outside the goo mines. Honestly, I like to see that, because out there it's really hard to see those Legion mines. Like, they mix in with the floor pretty well. And we actually do end up seeing a Solus here on the basement site, so, or on the upstairs site. So we'll have to see just how useful that Solus actually will be, despite the like I said, the small size of this map, and really not being too useful all in all, with how small it is. But almost a kill, a lot of potential damage there on towards that player that's kind of peeking out of office. Now Arthur's going to be opening up a little bit of a peek hole to try to kick this Legion out. He's trying to hold this CCTV area, and Loud just kind of trying to make whatever play they can, take a little bit of a position, just barely not catching that Legion as Arthur just looks away runs out.
Right, opening pick going in favor of B. Again, I'm just gonna go with Falatico, I guess, on the pronunciation of that. So Falatico going down early. That is, it's again the opening pick in the favor of B. Seen this before. B really like getting aggressive early. They're able to find just untraded picks at least early on in the round, and there we go. HRB, he's able to find a second onto P13, completely unaware of him, despite him getting a kill here just a few seconds earlier. Arthur gets taken down by HRB as well, and one-man army, you said, was the Solus going to be useful. I don't know about the gadget, but the gun certainly is. So now with 3 kills on the board, it's only down to Headset. And once again, another name. I'm not really sure how to pronounce some of these names. HRB is running out. It's a quad kill for him. And Atiz was able to clean up the last, takes that ace away from his mate. But at the very least, it's going to be a flawless round. And these start off a bit shaky, still with some confidence, and they're able to steal a round away. This time, a lot more confident. They don't even allow Loud to get in the building.
You know, I don't know if it's just out of spite, but HRB just decided, I really don't like what C's saying about my operators. So I'm going to kill every last one of them. And he does. A quad kill there on the second round for B. Like you said, not even in the building. And when they did get in, it was just one player walking in on a staircase where he was surrounded. Every angle was covered, and he just got taken out. That's a very dominant round for B right there. I mean, much different from that first round. We'll see how they take that mental advantage even into the third round, and how Loud takes that mental disadvantage and that round disadvantage as well. I mean, you've got a lot ahead of you. You've got a site that you haven't seen yet. As we see now, B has not lost a site, so they can't run it back on those 2 sites that they did before. But still Loud is going to have to contend with this brand new operator lineup and brand new site. Now, thing that is very surprising to me right now is that B is running a mute and a bandit right here, which I don't think I've ever seen before on this site. So,
double wall denial, trying to keep armory walls closed. Yeah, it looks like Atiz might be even going for a trick on that main wall, at the very least putting down battle wires. Sure that wall stays closed for a little bit. Vertical control, of course, on this site, very, very important. You need to keep control of up above, or you're just not going to be able to defend vents. And even then, it can be quite difficult defending vents if you're just being contested upstairs. As long as you have control of it, it doesn't mean that you'll be able to do anything with it if you're being contested. So you need to definitely keep good control of that top floor, and you can see B posted up very heavily upstairs. I think we see 1 player downstairs. The remaining 4 are all upstairs. Moment, Garen. He's picking up that Solus as well. We can see some operator rotations going out. So HRB is able to get a quad and now gives it over to Garen to he can get some picks with it as well, just hand it around, give everybody an opportunity with that gun. Garen just trying to see if he can spot any utility, but moment, next gadget not, or actually it's Ash. So no gadgets over on that side as Atiz is able to find a double kill. Just, right, opening picks, just goes for a swing, I think, on the breach. Able to take down 2 players with a bit of damage in return, but ultimately good setup. And yeah, again, Louder just stuck outside.
Yeah, I think Loud is suffering from a lack of. Oh, that was absolutely brutal. But I think that Loud is suffering from a lack of preparedness. They're not prepared for how aggressive B is playing, and they don't have the potential. Now, Garen is going to have to contend with this Ash that just jumped in on the off his side. Now, an Archive's just kind of waiting, holding out, maybe even knows that he's right there. Garen is in a very peculiar situation, and if he peeks out just a little bit more, Ash is going to see him. He does know that the Ash is there, trying to make a rotate happen out of there, and drops through the hatch, making it out, and Ash taking a little tiny bit of damage. So, not sure you could say that was really a good position for Garen to be in, but at least he made a little bit of something happen. Now, we're going to have to see B in a 3v3 with honestly a pretty big disadvantage here. Although time is winding down, they don't have any vertical left, and vertical is what you want to have on this site. There's a lot of potential to see where these players are, especially if you have at least 1 or 2 drones that can just kind of spot out where a player is. You can shoot them from above, open up some things, breaching charges, as the Ash is doing now, and push in towards that B site. Now, we are seeing B has a lot of open area on towards that B site, so we're going to have to see what Loud does to counter that. I'm opening up a lot of different hatches and just kind of formulating their push now, getting ready for that final execute.
Telegraphing their push over on Ven's side, knowing that they want to go for this execute. Headset now starting to try and get the plant down, but no, he gets tagged up by Garen and then finished off with the impacts. Dodo's able to find Arthur, who was outside, and so suddenly it's only down to Falas upstairs, and he gets taken down by HRB as well. And all right, B once again, they just wait for that execute to come through. They're very confident, just waiting for the push because it was telegraphed so obviously by Loud. They open up, oh, they made Bird over on Ben's. They knew exactly what was going to happen. They knew exactly what type of execute out, and they counter it perfectly. After wasting so much time on top floor and just disrupting so much, and B continued to just be dominant. They found every opening pick. They're very aggressive, and they're even getting away with situations that they really shouldn't be.
Yeah, definitely. It's a time problem, I think, here for Loud. And we've seen it, at least in that last round, it was a time problem because, um, sorry, I just can't help but mention Karen doing a 360 at the start of the round right there. But Lau just had a problem with they had gotten that upstairs, control with, but it was just a little bit too late, and it caused Lau to get a little bit scared. They had to get a setup for their execute, and they knew that the only site they'd be able to go into without the vert, without the intel onto where these B players were, is that they've got to go for that Vince area. And as soon as the Loud realized what their advantage was and what B player or what the Loud, sorry, as soon as B realized what their advantage was and realized what Loud was going for, they just took complete control and waited for the B player or for the Loud players to put that diffuser down. And with 2 impacts still up, making me bite my words that player on the Solus just took out the planter, and they had no real counterplay to that.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks to B, of course, winning 2 rounds, and now with the third as well, obviously. But the first 2 rounds, of course, forced out something that we haven't seen on broadcast today. And that is a 3-site rotation. We've seen 3 different sites in a row. We're not just going to the same ones over and over again. And so B just proving that they know how to play the map and they're set up to play the map properly. And after winning 3 rounds fairly confidently, B now decide, all right, let's go back to what we started with, Bathroom and Telos. It looks like it's a very similar strat, might even be the exact same. Be a lot of very similar things in the operator lineup. So B deciding, all right, run it back. We haven't lost yet. Let's continue the rotation, try and do it a second time. And so this is going to be Loud's opportunity to try and read into B and maybe get some sort of counter going. Because if these rounds start going awry, it might be over already. This is a BO1, so when you're down 4-0, 5-0, it's very difficult to battle back. The game is almost over already. In a BO3, at least you have your own map pick or something like that. But in
Definitely, you'd like to
BO1's the
see it.
format. It's a lot faster.
You'd like to see it. It's a very fast map as well. I mean, this map is notorious for being very quick, just with how close range it is. So they'll be getting that entry kill again onto Flax, and I think that the big thing to mention here and to notice here is that Loud is not making. Wow, that was close. But Loud is not making too much of an effort to really counter what the B players are doing so far. Although they have finally managed to push into this armor area and into Tellers, they're going to be able to take out, at least B takes out Arthur's there, though that's a tough one to lose. It's your Sledge going to be down, and your Lion down. Garen going just insane on this alibi gun, taking out another one with a trade, and that's going to be a 3v1 now. Cloud headset is left in a 3v1 all on his shoulders with a minute or 51 seconds left on the board, so it's not impossible, but it's very rough.
You also got to consider no diffuser in hand. Still lost somewhere in the middle of nowhere over on office side. He doesn't have any info left to play with as well. You can see him checking angles on top floor. B is long gone. They've taken their picks. They've just gone with the picks that Garen has been able to get, and they've headed for the hills. But Dodo just goes for a retake, goes straight back up metal, just tries to go for a take there, just takes out that last player. He's like, all right, enough time wasting. We all went downstairs, and we wanted to give him this time to try and start a clutch attempt, but he's taking too long. So I'm just going to go upstairs and end it. So B now up 4-0. And I'm saying this, in a BO1 when you're down 4-0, from a mental standpoint, if you're not careful, the game is pretty much over already. It's very difficult to fight back into this. And if it's going to be a fifth round on top of that as well, is B just continue going for their rotations. They go back to Armory now. This is going to start looking very scary, and we might even look at a 7-0.
Yeah, you definitely, as if you're allowed, player, you'd want to see that 2-1 last round instead of a 3-0, and just going into a 4-0 now on a site that really shouldn't be winning them this many rounds. You've got 2 rounds now won from a site that you would normally not see as your first site, so it's really rough for Loud to be losing what seems to be one of the least advantageous sites so far for B. I mean, yeah, the first round they honestly were really, really close to winning it. This round, had it not been for the efforts of Garen on the alibi, you would have been very close to winning that round. They had taken so much vertical space so quickly, but I think that Loud is just like we saw from BP. Loud is lacking in a kind of a timeout or like a slowdown call. You gotta just take your time and realize that you don't have to go so fast. So once they had that vertical position, they had that entry pick, they could have slowed down, taken some time to drone out, and found that player, that Garen, was upstairs and kind of countered his existence up there. But instead they just pushed right into him without knowing and ended up with 3 men going down for just 1.
You can see like 2 people stacked up over on that mirror window just trying to peek into it. That is scary. If you give Garen that pick, that's something that you really shouldn't be doing. Just very cautiously just peeking that mirror window. And it looks like Loud are pulling back actually. So they were trying to go for that wall early on. They see the mirror window yet again, and they're like, all right, let's rotate. Let's try and get CC and break control first. Let's maybe get some top east control as well. As Dodo takes a gunfight downstairs, he's taking some damage, but he ultimately forces the player back out, and as Shikale gets the opening pick onto Arthur, 1 minute off the clock, we have man advantage yet again for B. HRB is going for a very aggressive peek, and he does just about get P13, as Scarp is able to find a trade onto Shikale finally. Alas is able to find one as well, and now HRB finally getting taken down inside of that break. He was alive for way too long there, and now we're effectively in a 2v2, unless HRB can be covered. He's out in the middle of the game right now, but it looks like Loud can confirm, and Garen, there we go, he goes for the wide swing, he uses that mirror window perfectly. So now, only down to Scarp. He's able to finish off that injured player, but he misses some crucial shots onto Atiz as he pulls himself back into office, and so now he has a rough idea where this Legion is, but the Legion can play behind the mirror window, and he's so low on HP, just the Thatcher taken so much damage in earlier engagements, and now a Goo-Mine as well. If he steps into 2 more of those, or maybe 2 next to each other, he's gonna go down pretty much immediately. Now,
Yeah,
with
this
every
is a
passing
really
second,
bad...
this Legion just gets more dangerous, but Atis says, no, alright, once again, just like Dodo did in the previous round, this is taking too long, you're not pushing me, I'm gonna push you. And he just absolutely rolling over Loud at the moment. They don't have an answer.
Yeah, it was just a really bad position in general for a Sledge to be stuck in a 1v2 against 2 mirror windows, although I think one got taken out there, but still, the side of the map you're on has a mirror window facing right towards you, and the diffuser is down towards where the other mirror window is. It's just... And you're on 1 HP, and there's a bunch of Legion mines in the room you're pushing into. That's almost unwinnable at that point. Now, had he got those shots onto the Legion, who had just been doing 360s running down the hallway, I think he would have had a lot more potential to win that round, but he missed some crucial shots right there, and like you said, and Garen's doing his signature 360-degree turn at the start of the round. So we'll have to see just how Loud manages to come back from this, if at all, because it's 5-0 right now. You've got 1 round to redeem yourself on attack, and then you're straight to defense, where if you lose 1 more round and it's a 6-0, you're out of the game.
Yeah, we're now in damage control. You gotta win this round to avoid match point. You want to go into the second half with at least a chance, because if you make this a 6-0 half, it's going to be so difficult. You would need your own flawless half. It's rare enough to get 1 flawless half, but to have a game where both teams get their flawless half, it's going to be very difficult, because B have all of this momentum. If you don't break that in the last round, I mean, I've heard this argument made before. I'm not sure which caster it was. It was some T1 bot. Sadly, I don't remember who it was. I'm just gonna steal it. They said if it's a 5-1 split, you would want that 1 round that you have. Like, if you're down 1-5, you want that round to come out in the last one. Because then at least you break the momentum of the enemy team, and you go with a round win directly into the other half. You don't want to win the first round and then go down 5 and switch halves, because that is terrible for the mental. This is technically the best circumstance for a 5-1 split, but a 5-1 split is never good in the first place. Just trying to salvage where salvage is possible.
I think had it been the other way around, so what I mean is, for this site, 4-2, right, where you're on attack makes the best sense, but a 5-1 split where you're on attack is really rough.
Yeah.
it's. I'm sorry. I'm just like enamored by what is going on in this position right now. Just smoke
Yeah, there's
grenades
so
going
much
out.
burn.
Just
P13 is
walking
pushing
into
in
sight
what?
there, but not getting the kill. I don't know how that just happened, but Atiz gets down anyway. Smoke
happening?
still just making so many problems. Oh my god, a Nitro Cell goes out, takes out P13. Arthurs gets a trade right onto HRB, and Atiz gets taken out by Falaxico. What in the world did we just see? It's a 2 versus 4 where B is down in a position that is not looking good. They've taken the site. Loud is on site. It's just that the Dodo, sorry, to take into a 1v3, does manage to take out at least one. That's Arthur's down, Plant going down from Headset, and we're going to have to see, with a minute and 20 seconds left, they got the Plant down, and now it's all on the Dodo. You're left in such a bad position, and you come out right behind someone, but you don't see him, and that's just insane. What just happened?
All 5 players of Loud pretty much, I mean, just deciding, all right, pick utility, we're just going to dump it all on top floor, and then we're just going to go straight into the site. You could see 2 players were inside of the site there in that 4v1. So you distract them on top floor with everybody throwing util, you go in, you take out some of the players, then you have complete side control. Dodo drops back down the hatch, and suddenly he has to contend with 2 players fighting him already. So, hey, Loud, they're not out of this game just yet. They avoid match point. They get 1 round going into the second half. They now have the defensive side. He can do a 5-1 split. Game of 2 halves. Of course, there is always the chance for Loud to be doing their own 5-1 split. That might be overtime. And since it's not match point yet, the 3 points are not off the board yet for Loud. But of course, he just kind of need to win 1 round, and then if not at least overtime. So that's what B is looking at the moment. Very chaotic round coming out.
Yeah.
The amount of utility dump there was incredible.
That's why I just went quiet watching them throw smoke grenades, walk into the site or into the upstairs area next to one player and in front of another through the smoke, just spraying, but not managing to kill the guy. And then the wall gets opened anyways.
Yes.
And then he runs away, and then he finally dies. And then at the same time, they're just in the site downstairs. That was, honestly, it was confusing me, but it was really well done from Loud. If they managed to take that round out, I think they just decided, like you said, let's just go for it. Just send it. Let's get this last round. We heard what Reaper said, so let's just do what he said and get this last run to disrupt what they're doing and exactly. Make our mental a little better.
Yeah. So despite the 5-1 split, of course, with the way that last round went, could be looking at a fairly even mental game, depending on how these 2 teams feel about that round. He can shrug it off. Of course, it's still a 5-1 split. It's still very good. Of course, Loud now, they just won a round. They avoided match point. They're going into the second half saying, all right, we can be on defense now. We can do the same thing. They just play aggressively with that Solus, and there we go. Falaz able to find the pick onto the T's. Once again, the Solus being very important in opening fights, but no, he runs down the main hallway, and HRB cuts him down as he's trying to rotate back in. Falaz trying to go for a very risky long rotation back to the side to get himself safe. Gets caught out on that, and so trade coming through. Able to at least equalize. This is only the second opening pick for Loud, and this time it's even
a very interesting position here from this Mira. I mean, you've got the downstairs area open. Someone peeking up through that hatch could maybe take out your Mira. Now you've got this 90 hallway open from that Habana. Some damage taken onto Arthur, and just no nades left though from B to deal with this player. Is they wasted one downstairs, wasted another one, didn't take him out. Now Dodo taking out P13, making it look a little bit worse for Loud, but they still got that Mira in a strong position. Or sorry, they still have the Mira in a strong position. Now trying to push that player out. Mira takes out at least one before leaving his position, realizing that there's a hash downstairs. Just a little bit of damage to a yellow ping. That's insane that they managed to get that.
He doesn't know about the player though. He doesn't know about the player in break.
Gets taken out. That player in break.
Garen just going for a bit of a crouch walk, able to find that pick, and so that leaves Scarp in a 1v3. He's able to find one onto Dodo. Dodo just sprinting into the side, gets caught down. Gets caught out of position, rather. So Scarp now, he has a rough idea of where this other player is. I think he might have just seen the head of Ash, and there we go. He's able to get the injure onto HRB as well, and suddenly Scarp finds himself in a 1v1. We saw Topsander do this in the game earlier, a 1v3. Once again, we have Scarp, and he does a lot of damage to Garen as well. Suddenly it's a 1v1, both relatively low on HP. Scarp still has an impact left to play with. Garen, still 2 flashes as well. Fuses down on the floor inside of the site, 20 seconds. Garen will have to go for this push. Scarb just has to try and hold on. He already has the impact in hand. He's very keen to try and use this. He might be able to finish Garen off if he uses it, right? From a safe position even. He uses it. It doesn't quite connect, but he goes for the wide swing off of it after getting flashed. And both players using the utility. That was very nice in that just utility trade. But ultimately, Scarb gets the 1v3, gets another round for Loud on the board. They avoid match point yet again. Starting a little bit of a comeback now, maybe with some more confidence. Just rolling right into their third defensive round. Second.
And you see, it kind of is unfortunate because Garen could have clutched that round, but
Yeah.
and honestly, they shouldn't have had to. Losing that 1v3 is just rough if you're a B member. But I mean, Garen just he picked the wrong side on a 50-50, and that's what happened. Had the Wamaya there swung out the other direction, he probably would have killed him as he was flashed. But he swung out the opposite way, and I guess there wasn't enough reading going on from that in that position that they didn't know he was going to swing out the opposite direction. Just a wrong
I
wrong
can
50-50 choice.
we talk about mental a lot, and I was saying how that one round was going to be important to avoid not just the match point, but to also get a bit of mental going back into the game. I don't think mental's a problem for Loud because they were down 1-5, and they have a player like Arthur. We saw it in the last round. I commented on it briefly because I was shocked. He was just peeking his head through a breach on a long angle, trying to take a fight onto a sledge with a 1.5x. He does not care. I don't think that the mentals worrisome at all for Loud. We saw, of course, Balaz also going for a bit of banter after that 1v3. Very happy with his teammate clutching that out, and I think at the moment the mental is very good for Loud. They don't care what the scoreline is. They're just very confident and just having fun.
Yeah, I mean, I think that they're having a good time, and especially I do not know what the play was there, but I think that was a run out. Did not work out whatsoever, but I think Loud's just trying to keep it up with that, with like you said, trying to keep that mental up, just having fun, going around, doing what they feel like doing, and if it works out for them, it works out, and that's great. And if it doesn't, then that's fine. Now we're gonna see a little bit of a counter pick, so we see some pretty common counterplay between teams. We have a Valkyrie and then the counter for it, an IQ coming right out. But oh my lord, Arthur's just jumping out and takes out your hard breacher. That is a rough one to lose, and so early in the round as well. 2:10 on the clock, and you're down a hard breacher. That's
Lost
way
a
worse
player.
than being
Yeah,
down a Solus.
lost a player early, just playing aggressively over on that jail side. No problem. Just have a second guy jump out right after and go for a trade. Again,
Yeah.
Loud, they're not discouraged at all. Dodo might be on 10 kills. Dodo might be a menace. Find pretty much every opening frag for B under the sun at the moment. But they don't care. They don't care what Dodo is doing. They're playing their own game, and at the moment, that is really paying off for them. They're still able to find these picks. But of course, HRB, another player that needs no mentioning for B, just very, very impactful in some of these rounds. Able to find the player. So man advantage back into the favor of B. Headset is getting caught out as well. He's not even aware of the player pushing in, and HRB now on a double kill. He also breaks the double digits on the kills, both on 10 now. He's able to go for a triple, takes down Arthur, trying to retake top floor. Arthur not really aware of that player either. Just very aggressively, HRB is getting himself into positions that are ahead of whatever Loud is expecting. Now, 4v1, there's still a minute left. There's some clones coming out. There's drone utility. They're trying to get that castle on site open. And P13, he's stuck inside here, and he will have to try and go for that. Does he get that breach charge? No, he doesn't. But now the wall opens up. He will have to look at it. Trying to take that gunfight with the IQ, but there's HRB dropping in front of it and taking that kill away from him. HRB, he wants them all. I noted the top frag on the team for B being Dodo, and HRB was like, nope, nope, one little correction. I am the top frag. I am the one who top frags. And so now match point for
Yeah. Just taking those free kills. I mean, it almost felt like Arthur was like, I got a kill. Let me just walk around the top floor and like I'm a mindless robot, and just started like, I mean, it didn't even look like he knew where he was going. I'm not sure what he was doing, but a strong start to a round by Loud, but a strong finish from B. So that's what you like to see from B. If deciding that they're not going to get too down from losing those two rounds, and that they're just going to go straight back to what they're used to and take that round right back. So they do manage to make it match point. Now, Loud, they might end up ending it like it was the BP versus versus Sokudo game, and ended up 2-7. This time with the other team
Hungarian
being
team.
the one on advantage. Yeah, the Hungarian on the advantage. So we'll see just how that plays out, because I have confidence that Loud can do this if they just they just play a little bit less aggressive and a little bit more intelligently. I think that they have that potential there. They've obviously got the kills that are able to come out. Obviously, at the same time, the players on Loud stat line wise look a lot worse than B, and I don't see anyone on Loud doing 360s at the start of every round. So maybe that's just a little bit of part of the game, but
The 360, it gives you extra confidence. It gives you a bit of a
it's
stat
like
boost.
it's like a superpower. Yeah.
Yeah, essentially. Yeah.
It's like doing the godly knife after you kill somebody.
It's a passive ability you
Yeah,
just
exactly.
have on these players. Yeah, certainly. And I mean,
But
you said
look at
you were talking
Flax
about the score.
going for the run out though.
Yeah, he did. Again, he does not care. He's died multiple times. He's 7-7. He's not doing too hot on the engagements. Like he's doing all right for himself, considering the scoreline is pretty good. And he's very aggressive, and it pays off for him. He does not care. He gets shot down in the previous round. He still sticks his face out of that. And as you mentioned, the scoreline 7-2 was from the last game, but we might be looking at a 6-2 here. But honestly, the side of Loud, they look a lot more alive than BP5 ever have in that entire matchup. So, once again, just some fights back and forth. Falaz gets taken out by Garen. He just gets himself caught. So suddenly half the server is dead. I just wanted to make one little point, and suddenly almost everyone's down. Now B, they've got a man advantage, 3v2. 13, he's gotten a second kill for himself inside of the server. Now, Headset is actually able to find a pick. That is massive. He finds a tease, and now suddenly we have even man count. Headset has good control of top east. He's able to retake the entirety of top floor. P13, who is cold this entire game, gets a double kill in the round. Takes down Dodo as well, who's so hot up until now. Now, it's only down to Garen. He is able to find P13, him off. And with a minute 30 to go, Garen still has a lot of time left to play with. He does have side control. He's trying to go for that plant. I don't think Headset has information on where that player is planted. Garen does get off of it, but of course, he can easily just reposition and plant somewhere else. The hatch is closed, so he can just plant underneath bathroom hatch. Headset now will have to try and go for a hatch job. Plant is definitely going to get stuck out, so this is going to be a post plant by all means. Now Headset's suddenly the one in the position to try and retake. As Garen just chilling on the side, he still has 2 frags in pocket. Headset still has a C4. Again, there's utility left on both players in this 1v1. Shotgun coming out. A little bit of a hole. Tries to swing into that, but no, Garen gets it. And there we go. Off of a 1v1 of Garen, we are able to close it out 7-2. And despite the similar scorelines of the 2 games today, they went very, very different.
You would have liked to see one of those players use a little bit of utility. Maybe Garen throwing us a frag grenade at that hole there, or maybe even opening up a little bit of a vertical area to throw in that nitro cell instead of just sitting there like with the nitro cell in your pocket, knowing there's a player right there and just not trying to use it. I hate to see wasted utility like that at the end of a round, especially like 2 grenades in the pocket. What are you doing not using those? You've got 30 seconds on the board. One of those nades can cook for 7-8 seconds. There's no big problem. Just use them.
A lot of utility left at the end of the round. You said quarter, very close quarter, very tight map. So not really a whole lot of space to use that utility. We saw, I think, one round where the utility was good, and that was that very chaotic round where they just dumped everything onto the main wall before just throwing straight at the side down below. This was like the one round where I think utility played a big role. And of course, I mean, not to forget that 1v3 clutch from Scarp was massive. And that was a trade utility in the 1v1. They were both low HP. One throws an impact, the other throws a flash. And so you have a gunfight that's uneven for both. So it cancels out, and Scarp is able to come out on top of that. We've had 2 1v3s today. 2 very good individual performance showings. And other than that, I think we've gotten a good picture today of, Sokudo and B just establishing dominance over other opponents. They're going to climb some points. They're going to get themselves up there. Very quickly, I'm going to look at the standings. So Loud, they were on 12. And B were on 7. And B now, of course, with that 7-2 win, they get points. They're up on 10. They briefly hop into the top 4, I think. Into the top 5. They're behind Sokudo because they also won today. So both Sokudo and B just solidifying themselves in the upper half of the major at the moment. And DP struggling a bit at the moment. And Loud, for them, they're still ahead of both these teams that won today, despite losing this game. And so Loud, they got to go back to the drawing board, but they can probably shrug this loss off. This might hurt for them in their top 2 positions, but they can probably still make top 4 if they continue their pace.
I think for sure with the way that Loud was playing today, yeah, it's a little aggressive. Yeah, it was a little bit disappointing, but overall, you could see that the soul was there, the fighting spirit kind of was there. They were not going to give up without a fight, and they tried their best to just make sure that those B players knew that they weren't going to give up. I mean, they went in on a lot of those fights just thinking we've got this, and a lot of times they did. They managed to make some plays that they wouldn't have made if they had been a little more scared, like we saw from BP. So I'm very proud of them in that aspect, that they still managed to like have that fighting spirit despite being down so heavily. I think they did really well in that aspect.
Yeah, certainly. I think the second game just being a show of, despite the 7-2 scoreline, again, I feel like this game could have been a lot closer just with how loud we're playing. They didn't lose any of their confidence. They didn't lose any of their ideas. They continued playing the way they did in round 1, and scoreline didn't really matter to them. And then I really like seeing that, because at any point in the game, you have the feeling like Loud can just quickly turn this around, and you could suddenly start having problems. It's just like 1 or 2 puzzle pieces that are missing. And if Loud figure out like one thing that they can counter out about B, is suddenly they're on top of the game. Ultimately, today it wasn't enough, so commiserations to Loud for losing that. But B, of course, getting an important 3 points, separating themselves from the middle of the pack and striving more toward the top, and also getting themselves away from their, of course, Hungarian opponents, BP5. A bit of regional rivalry. So BP5 losing today, B winning today. They're now quite a decent bit further apart, and so going into the remaining match days, there's not that many left. We're on Playday 6 today, so we've got about 3 Playdays left, and so they need to really start picking up the pace. BP5, if they want to even stay competitive, because at the moment they're right toward the bottom. And for the remaining teams, I think all 3 today, the remaining teams just work on your game, see if you can win the last few matches, and we'll have a lot of exciting placement matches ahead of us.
For sure. I don't really know if there's much else for me to say at this point, honestly. Like, I mean, it's all been said. You've covered pretty much everything I wanted to say, and I think.
Sorry if I took any of your points.
No, you did, but it's okay. It's fine. I think that the last real thing that I wanted to say is that it's glad to see at least one Hungarian team win.
Yeah,
yeah. Like
50-50 ain't bad.
Yeah, you still got the representation going well there. So, and I didn't catch it, but so are these teams both in the same, like you said, the Hungarian national kind of league over there? They're both in the same thing.
I think BP are in like 8th at the moment, and I think B are right above them. They're, I think, 4 points clear of BP at the moment. There's like 1 more Playday left, and MNEB, I'm not sure. But certainly, I mean, this is like the playground for Hungarian Siege. So today we saw a lot of Hungarian Siege, but if you want to see more of it, you can definitely go check out MNEB. They've got 1 more Playday left. I think B and B both have a match left, but B now on 20 points. At the moment, I think, yeah, okay, so B are going to be in 5th, BP5 are going to be in 6th. It's only 8 teams. I thought it was 10. It's 6 or 8 total, and so BP are 6th and 5th. And so both of them are going to go into at least the play-ins. So if you want to check that out, they're going to be BP5 is going to play against Spirit. B is going to play against Firebird. That's going to, I don't know when that's happening. Wikipedia says October 16th, so it would be exciting. So if you want to see more Hungarian teams, because we saw a lot today, certainly do check that out. Got a bit of representation for everyone today.
Yeah, the Finnish and the Irish, so that's fun. But I think that's the last game that we have for today. So it was great to cast today and to be here and to kind of watch these 4 teams play, but especially these 2 Hungarian teams. Sorry, I've never seen a Hungarian team play, and they brought some really weird stuff. But I mean, on the other side, Loud was amazing to watch them that integrity, even though they were losing. On the flip side, from B, or BP, sorry, who were a little bit scared, and then Sakudo, who had a really good few rounds at just that amazing counter to what BP was doing. I love to see counterplay in this tier of gameplay, so that's always really fun to see. But that's it for today, I think. And I just noticed my tag got put in there, so go follow me on Twitch or on Twitter. So They
do
didn't
follow
have my
both of
tag
us.
the whole time.
Also, shout out.
They're
You
trying
can you can see it on the announcement post for the stream as well. Do check out everybody that's working on production. We got Void today on producing again. Void been doing a massive job everywhere in T4, just doing a bang up job producing. I can actually, unlike with Eps producing, I can actually see the gameplay that I need to cast. Sideburn there, and of course, Agwan Max observing. Always great to have observers because observers are hard to come by, and every single one that we have in T4 is doing a really good job of showing setups, showing maps, getting us some of the kills. It's not an easy job to do. There's a lot of multitasking. You got to be
No, no.
following like 10 players at once. I'm no good at it, and I don't have a controller to properly steer the free cam with. So if I would observe, it would look janky as hell. And so, very glad for the production because without them, it wouldn't be possible. All we do is talk. Again, do go
Surprisingly easier
give
than it
everyone a
sounds.
follow and just check everyone out on Twitter, and we'll be back for the next Friday. And you got to stay tuned for some more Talent League because we got some more important matches for qualification coming up in the major.